Hey everybody, John Houlihan here. Welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to take a quick look at how to record a guitar amp. These days, there's many ways to record electric guitar without using a guitar amp. Many digital interfaces have a high Z input that you can plug your guitar directly into. You can also use direct boxes, power attenuators, speaker emulators, all kinds of fancy electronics. However, many of these methods, in my opinion, don't give you a realistic guitar tone. And I still think the best way is to set up a real microphone in front of a real guitar amp. And that's how it's been done for over 60 years, and it's worked out so far. So there's many ways you can record a guitar amp. There's hundreds of different microphones you can use. There's many ways of positioning the microphone. You can also use multiple microphones on a single amp. So there's thousands of combinations and permutations. I'm just going to show you a very common way of doing it using a Shure SM57 microphone. The Shure SM57 is arguably the most popular microphone used for miking an electric guitar amp. It's a directional dynamic mic, so it doesn't require phantom power, and it can also tolerate a high sound pressure level for people who like to turn their amps up to 11. My Blues Junior actually goes to 12. Just saying. One important thing I'd like to illustrate in this video is that guitar amp speakers are very directional. And what I mean by that is that they sound different depending on where your ears are relative to the center line of the speaker axis. So, for example, if the speaker's aimed directly at your head or your ear, you're going to hear a lot more top end and high frequencies. Sometimes these frequencies can sometimes be very harsh and piercing. On the other hand, if your amp is on the floor and you're standing in front of it, the speaker is going to be aimed at the back of your knees, and you're not going to hear all that top end. So for the same reason, if you place the mic directly on the speaker axis, the mic is similar, it's acting as your ear, you're going to hear a lot more top end, which can sometimes sound harsh and brittle. So as you move the mic out towards the edge of the speaker cone, the tone becomes smoother with less top end. So that's something I want to kind of highlight in this video, is that the directionality of guitar amp speakers and how moving the microphone relative to the center line of the speaker axis can make a big difference. Okay, so let's have a look at the setup, and we'll see how it goes from there. Let's have a look at our setup. We've got the SM57 microphone. It's close to the speaker. I've got two pieces of electrical tape. It's currently pointed at pretty close to the center line of the speaker cone, and then down below you can see another piece of tape that's identifying the edge of the speaker tone. So we're going to move the mic between those 2 points and see what difference it makes. Also, instead of using a mic stand, I've got something called a cab grabber made by a company called Audix, that it's spring loaded and it grips the side panel of the amp, so you don't need a mic stand. This thing just attaches to the amp. Okay, so this is one of the limited edition Fender Blues Juniors. It has different color Tolex, and it has a Jensen P12Q speaker. So here you can see the volume settings. So the volume in this case is set at 7. That's preamp volume. Now you notice the trebles is dialed way back to 2, the bass is on 3, and the mid's on 4. And the treble's dialed way back. I found the Jensen P12Q. It's a good speaker, but it requires a long break-in period, and it's got a lot of top end. So I've dialed the treble back to 2. Master volume set at 3, reverb's off. Okay, so that's what we're looking at as far as the amp setup. This is my 62 reissue Stratocaster, and the pickup selector switch is in the first position, the bridge position. Okay, down over here we've got some effects pedals, and the only ones I'm really using are the Boss compressor pedal, and you can see how it's set. So it's going to be on the whole time for the test. And then I'm also using an Ibanez TS9 tube screamer, and I'm going to switch it on and off so you can hear the difference between an overdrive sound and a clean sound. And you can see the drive setting is set quite low, and the tone is also rolled off quite a bit to reduce the amount of top end. So that's the setup we have. So let's go ahead and we'll do some recording, see how it sounds, and we'll switch the mic position between the center line of the cone and the edge of the cone, and you'll see there's a bit of a difference there, and it's something that can be helpful in your recording sometimes if you're getting too much top end and you have a brittle sound. Okay, so for test number 1, we've got the SM57 mic located basically on the center line of the speaker cone, as indicated by the uppermost piece of electrical tape. So we've got the TS9 is off, so this is just a bit of compression and no other effects. So let's see how this sounds. Okay, now I'm going to move the mic down close to the edge of the speaker cone, and we'll see what kind of difference it makes. Now I'm going to move it to like a middle position and see how that sounds. Okay, so I think there's a few things. One, when it's in the center line position, you get more top end. You also get more volume. When I moved it to the edge, it rolls off the top end, and it's also a little more compressed. You also lose a bit of volume. And in the middle of the speaker cone might be the sweet spot where it actually sounds the best. So now we're going to repeat this whole thing with a little bit of distortion on and see how that goes. So I'll put it back to the center position here, and I'm going to switch on the TS9. So here we go. Okay, move it down to the edge of the speaker cone. Here we go. try the center of the speaker cone again. See how that sounds? Okay, so I think you guys can hear some differences when the mic position is changed from the center line speaker cone to the edge, and then in the middle. The middle might be considered a good sweet spot, but you guys can experiment at home. But it's really quite easy. This is a very common setup with the SM57. The cab grabber makes it a little easier. You don't have to mess around with the mic stand. It just locks onto the side of it's spring loaded. It locks onto the side of the amp. And you guys can experiment at home with mic positioning, and hopefully this is going to help you guys do some recording and get the tone, the ever elusive tone that everyone seems to be looking for. Okay, so I hope you found this video about miking your guitar amp useful. Please hit the subscribe button down below, and also leave your comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.